Hello and welcome back to the Toffee YouTube channel, your source for all things Everton. My name's Thomas, back on the channel today with Terry and Owen for a video that we've never actually had to make on this channel. A reaction to an away win against a top six side is just what we'll call them for the ease of the video. Of course, myself, Terry and Owen did the preview for the game. I don't think we were as optimistic as some people were, but now coming off the game, I'm sure we're going to be a lot more positive about the performance. Also went to Spurs Stadium, beat them 1-0 away from home. Brilliant performance, start to finish. Spurs were rubbish, played them off the park. Højbjerg, glad he swerved us, let's be honest, but we'll get into him later. Terry, what were your kind of initial reactions to the game?
I think it took everyone by surprise. I don't think anyone expected all three of the new signings to play. I'd be surprised if many people thought we were going to play 4-3-3 and like a proper 4-3-3 as well. Very controlled, very professional performance. There was no there was no nerves. There was no big moments where we're riding our luck or we're under constant pressure. We looked like the better of the two teams for the whole game. So I've wanted us to play that style for ages. The 4-3-3 with inverted, wide forwards coming in on their other foot. And, through an actual 4-3-3 where the front three stay high. They don't just slot back into a 4-5-1 with the striker isolated with a mile of space all around him. I'm made up. 41st attempt to win her away at a Sky 6 ground. And we've done it. Hopefully that is a turning point. Just with not turning points, big massive song and dance. We're going to win the lot because we are. But a big turning point for these away grounds. We don't have to go away to these away grounds and just crumble. But yeah, great performance. All the new signings played well. Some of the players from last season who come in for a little bit of criticism played well. Pickford, Gomez. Yeah, great performance. I was over the moon.
Yeah, and Owen probably had a minor heart attack when he found out we weren't playing a 4-4-2 at the start. We changed to a 4-3-3. But what were your general thoughts about the game then, Owen?
To be honest, I didn't know what formation it was. It could have been anything. It was just plays on the screen. I don't even think the admin knew what formation we were playing, to be honest. So I didn't know either. No, I was really pleased. I really liked that 4-3-3 as well, because even though it wasn't a really conventional 4-3-3, out of possession we dropped back and just didn't give them any space to play into either. So it just worked really well in and out of possession. But the reason why I think we won the game ultimately was because we kept the ball really well. I think Everton in the past just give chances away through giving the ball away in them games, and that's how we always end up losing them. But yesterday, it just felt like we had so much control on the game. It didn't seem like in the past when we got beat there a couple of years ago 4-0 and we couldn't keep the ball for more than 10 seconds. It was like the opposite of that yesterday, because we just couldn't give it away. I know the Waffle fans had a song about the Corey never giving the ball away, but I didn't think he actually meant it. He actually never gave the ball away once. I think Alan was fantastic. I don't know where he's been for my 19 years on this planet, but he's unbelievable. Everything I want in a footballer. And James, I've never seen an Everton player with that kind of technique before. And you know what? I said it on Twitter. And I'll say it again. Andre Gomez played all right. I thought he played well. But in the 4-3-3, I didn't think he left any gaps like he normally does. But yeah, but fair play. And I can't say he played well, because to some people just laugh if you say someone's played well, even though you've criticised them. But no, he played well, and Pickford played well too. So all positives for me.
Yeah, I was. I mean, as you can imagine, I was ridiculously happy with that performance. I was so glad when I saw that system, because we could have played the 4-3-3, but with Walcott on the right. But I mean, no one would want to see that realistically. I'm glad Gomez got into that 3 because it did benefit him massively. Alan, unbelievable all game. Of course, he was Gary Neville's man of the match, didn't he? He was. I think it's remarkable the way he just sat straight in. But at the end of the day, Ancelotti clearly trusts them all, and that has massive benefits. I agree with Pickford as well. Pickford was incredible. Yeah, he was incredible, to be fair. I mean, there was a couple of saves, when Doherty went through. I can't remember who it was down the right. It was Dele Alli also, at one point, but just much more composed from him. Even if, every now and then they managed to play a ball in behind, he didn't look like he was flapping or screaming at anyone like he sometimes does. He seemed a lot more composed, just kind of in general. I mean, the system obviously massively benefited Mina and Keane. I think Keane looked a lot more composed on the ball than he has done in the past. But that might be part of his improvement in the past few months anyway. But Gomez as well, I was very impressed with. James, I was impressed with him. We're going to move on to James next because we're going to try and go through all the three new signings, give our reaction. But of course, he plays a slightly different role to Decore and Alan. So I'll come to you first, Owen. Just what were your thoughts on James? I mean, first of all, what were your reactions when we went into the game and he was starting straight away? And then he obviously played off the right, very, in my opinion, was a very, very, well, he suited the role very well, I think. What were your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I was quite surprised to see him start, but I also found it quite refreshing. Because I think Newcastle the day before, they throwed all their signings, and so I thought, why can't we? I thought before that, we'll probably still see Sigurdsson start, and probably Bernard will start, and it'll probably be the one final dose of last season before we get into the new players next week at West Brom. But I think with the more playing to the level he did, it was really refreshing. But yeah, James, I think the one thing I underestimated about him was how technically good he is. I knew he was good technically, but I didn't think he was that good. I thought, so I hadn't really watched him that much since the World Cup and a few Madrid games, but I thought for someone who I think did I hear he hadn't started the league games since October or something. He just looked so up to the pace, and yeah, I think he's going to improve our levels massively in terms of creative output. It's just the way he controls the game. Gary Neville was just, I think he was in love with him, the way he was going on about his touch and his pass and everything. I think we'll get goals out of him as well. He looks like he likes to have a shot, which is something our midfielders didn't do at all. They don't like shooting, and he obviously popped up with a few. His passing, he put a few in for Richarlison, just couldn't quite finish it. But no, I'm really positive about James after watching that.
Yeah, I was a bit concerned when I saw him starting on the right about his pace, but that wasn't the role that he played at all. Like, he was happy to just take a touch, and then, I mean, he constantly looked for that switch out of Richarlison because Doherty, I don't know what system he thought he was playing in, but it was definitely not the one that Mourinho had told him to do. He was miles up the pitch, loads. I mean, Ancelotti read that like an absolute book. He told Richarlison, to kind of play that inside forward role. He was absolutely bullying Alderweireld for his pace down there. There was the chance, of course, at the start of the game where he got through, latched onto that kind of weak back pass, but of course, he didn't finish it in the end, and he didn't score. But Richarlison was still good in the end. Let's be honest. I mean, he was causing all sorts of problems for the defense all game. And even if you don't score, if you're causing that many problems, it can benefit other players massively. I mean, Calvert-Lewin's goal came from their two centre backs not heading the ball. I mean, I don't understand how two centre backs like Alderweireld and Eric Dyer can really end up doing that. But again, Richarlison caused them problems all game, but he was constantly found by James off that right side. Terry, what were your thoughts on him?
With James, I was watching him, and I was like everyone else was like, yeah, he probably won't play straight away, fitness wise, yada yada. And Owen summed it up perfectly there. It felt like today was going to be the last dose of last season before we started getting into the new players. But I saw it on Twitter, so I can't claim this is my own shout, but I can't remember who said it, so I apologise if it was you. But watching Rodriguez was like a load of random lads having a match, and there was one ex-professional in the team. Like, so every single touch, every single pass, none of it was wasted. It was absolutely different level. If we can keep him fit, then he's going to be a revelation, because he was just he was playing 4D chess while everyone else was playing checkers. He was just so much better than everyone else. When I saw the formation, I was like, is that a diamond? Is he going to play like Rodriguez behind the front two, and the other three as a three behind him? And I thought, but then Coleman can't be the pace on that right hand side, the width rather. Rodriguez was class. He's everyone has been a little bit like, oh, will he suit this league? Will he will he take the pace, the physicality? Like, I went on Talksport to preview the game and spoke to Gabriel Bonlaho, and he was like that. He was like, yeah, I don't think Rodriguez is going to be a good sign, and don't think he's going to be able to do it. One of them who acts like he hasn't done anything since that 2014 World Cup, because he hasn't played much last year. That accounts for the last 5 years, 6 years.
Gabriel Bonlaho, what a footballer,
I know. He was like that, and I was like that, thinking, you know what? At this point, I can't say he's wrong, because I don't know either. But then, yeah, I wish I was speaking to him today, going, yeah, looked to cut above everyone else on the pitch, looked better than any Spurs player, any Everton player. Absolutely fantastic. What a player he is.
It's hilarious just how bad he makes Gylfi Sigurdsson look. I mean, it is unbelievable that the gap in quality between those two. When Sigurdsson came on, he just doesn't add anything to the midfield, does he at all? Like, I really don't feel he did anything at all, really. Like, okay, he didn't have to be on the pitch for that long, and it probably suited him because, I mean, everyone was getting tired when he came on. He had more time on the ball, but even then, he just had no impact. I mean, because there's a difference between a midfielder like, Allen, who kind of silently goes about, what he's meant to do, and then Gylfi Sigurdsson, who's just silent, but like doesn't have any output at all. But then, as I mentioned there, Alan Decore, of course, made their debuts. We'll definitely have to talk about those two. Feel free to throw in your Højbjerg reactions as well, because we'll have to talk about him coming out of this game. But Terry, do you want to start on Alan Decore, Højbjerg, that kind of battle that went on in the midfield?
Excuse me. Was it a battle? Like, they didn't get a kick all game. Like, he brought Dele Alli off to put Sissoko on at half time, Mourinho, just to try and give them some presence in midfield. Because I think Gary Neville said, like, the Spurs midfield hadn't had a kick. I'm not going to go in on Højbjerg going, oh, thank God we never bought him, because he could still be a good player. But he was not up to the battle yesterday. Like, Decore and Allen didn't lose the ball, and Decore didn't lose the ball, as Owen said. And any time that anyone else lost the ball, Allen was right there on top of them. Absolute little terrier of a player. I was shocked how well our new midfield had gelled. Like, and Andre Gomez, I don't want to go on about Andre Gomez. We're talking about the new players, but he didn't pull up trees like, oh, he was amazing, but it's like he did look so much more comfortable in a three-man midfield. He looked like he knew what he was doing. He looked like he knew he had to perform. And I've got to be honest as well, it's a brand new season. If we're going to stick with a brand new formation, that this could change, change the goalposts with some players. Like Sigurdsson didn't do much yesterday, but I'm willing to, see if he can come in and do more in a 4-3-3. If he comes in as that third midfielder, you might see more of him, because there's new midfielders now, and he's thinking, shit, I've got to up my game here, otherwise I'm going to be off. But the two new players look like they've been here for years. Like, it looked like they had always been here, and James was the new player. Like, James is like sort of shine, allowed them to just sort of quietly go about their job. No one was like, focusing on them completely. If we can keep that 11 fit, especially that midfield, we're gonna be a good team this year. It's just it worked. It's just we've got a good 11 at the minute, and outside of that, we just don't know. Because obviously there's going to be a big drop off if we haven't got Allen, if we haven't got Decore in there. But as long as we have got them in, I've got a lot of faith that we can do something.
Yeah, it looks like a system that Gbamin, whenever he's fit as well, could kind of just walk into a lot better than maybe what we were playing last year. He could definitely play that Allen role, whenever he does become fit. But Owen, what were your reactions to kind of Allen and Decore and Højbjerg, if you wanted? Because I'm going to talk about him, but just going over to you first.
First of all, I want to talk about that Tottenham change in midfield at half time, because all I heard in the first half was Jamie Redknapp say how good Dele Alli was and how much space he was finding. Jose didn't think that, and he took him off at half time. So if that proves anything, it proves Jamie Redknapp doesn't have a clue about football. But on our midfield, I thought they were all faultless. I thought Allen, Jesus, I've never seen a midfielder that I can relate to so much in all my life. You were big up Carlo for signing him, Jesus. I thought he was probably my man of the match, Allen. I thought he just screened everything so well. I don't think they got any chances, really, because of him, especially after the first half. And I thought he just put out fires all over the place. Decore, I was worried about Decore because he ended last season quite poorly for Watford, and I thought, is he just going to get up to the pace straight away for what we want? But he was unbelievable. He just didn't put a foot wrong. His passing was exceptional. I thought he found Dom a few times, just Dom straight in the wrong position, but I thought he was perfect. I'm really looking forward to see him in a game where it's going to be Everton who has all the initiative to win. Like West Brom next week, I really want to see what Decore can do, like arriving in the box and that. And Højbjerg, look, it's his first game for Tottenham, but he was nowhere near the levels our two were at. I still think he'll be a good player for Tottenham to like him, but he was miles behind Alan and miles behind Decore, but I suppose we looked the better team overall in every position. Of course, even our goalie looked better, and I don't think I've ever said that since about 2012 or something. But all over the pitch. Even our right back, they've signed a new right back for 15 million, who's displaced Coleman from the Ireland squad. And I thought Coleman looked better than him. It was the most un-Everton performance of all time. So I'm laughing it up, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, as well, like, that we haven't mentioned yet, Decore's tackle when I can't remember who it was that was going through on goal.
Yeah.
I think it was from a corner. They were counter-attacking. I mean, imagine last year. Imagine the midfield of Sigurdsson and Davies. Imagine one of them tracking back like that. You just can't even fathom it at all. Made such a difference. I mean, yes, they didn't have to do much, let's be honest, to impress us from our centre midfield last season, but they did it in absolute abundance. I was very impressed. I mean, I was surprised at Hotspur because, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, we can say the cliche that they've never played in the league. Ancelotti's clearly not a big fan of that, but at the end of the day, it's true. I mean, Hotspur's, he's been here for quite a few years now. Yeah, I thought he really struggled compared to Alan, and then Decore as well. We've all of a sudden got a midfield who just silently go about doing their business. But I'm glad as well that Alan got recognised as man of the match because he was incredible from start to finish. Very impressed with him. And then we'll talk about the goal as well because we haven't mentioned that brilliant delivery from Luca Dean. We're not going to talk about whatever it is 5 yards in front. It doesn't matter. That they should have reacted. When the free kick was given, Calvert-Lewin met it brilliantly. Terry, what were your reactions to the goal, just to kind of round off this video?
That goal is one of my favourite type of goals to score. That sort of gliding header. It's like, I love it when a centre forward or a centre back or someone does that. It's so satisfying. There's one thing to off a corner, you just rise up and a standing jump and put it in. But to when you sort of hang time in the air and just fly towards the ball and just power it in, I love that. That is one of the most satisfying goals to score. And I'm also made up we robbed that 5 yards because I want to see, in Jose Mourinho's words, us to be a gang of because he wants his team to be more snide, more more streetwise, more clever in matches. And he'll be absolutely fuming yesterday that we've got a goal from taking the piss like that, but from throwing the ball a little bit further forward to get a better angle for the free kick. That's what I want to see. That's what we've been missing for years, this sort of little bit of nous, especially away from home. And it's where this is probably why, one of the big reasons why we're not performing, or we haven't been performing against the top 6 teams at their ground, because they've got that, little bit of knowledge, little bit of dark arts to them, whereas we're going to a knife fight with a pair of boxing gloves on, trying to have a stand-up contest. It's no, I want to see more of that. I want to see more snide. I want to see more professional fouls. I want to see more standing in front of the ball so they can't take a quick free kick. I want to see more, piss taken with the where the free kicks are taken. Loved it, but how good is a gliding header into the net? Absolutely, just scenes when it goes in. I love that.
Yeah, and then Calvert-Lewin in general, I thought looked a lot more confident today than he did kind of during the lockdown football. I mean, you probably would be, filled a lot more with confidence when you've got a midfield behind you and James Rodriguez to your right, to be fair. But I think he looked much more energetic than he did. I mean, at the end of last season, he looked like he was much more willing to run the channels, which, of course, he's always done quite well, but he was kind of trailing off last year. He was really struggling with his goal scoring. I mean, what better way to start the season than scoring at the end of the day, and then scoring that kind of goal as well. It seems to be a goal that he seems to love. He loves a header. Owen, what were your thoughts on the goal and maybe just Calvert-Lewin in general?
Yeah, I love a good set-piece goal. It really does cheer me up, to be honest. Never mind this 500 pass nonsense before you get to the goal. Just get a big, long ball into the box and have someone knock it in. But yeah, and as for the dark art, yeah, I'm all for that too. I think we should do it more often. I think actually we should just take the ball in the corner more often. It's just something really refreshing about just wasting time. That's why I wanted Ben Foster. He's got no issue with wasting time. So it's time management, as someone said this weekend. I don't know what game it was. Palace, yeah. Joel Ward shouted to Guy, said, manage the time. Yeah, we should manage the time more often. But yeah, that's a reason why we don't win. That's why teams go to these places and win 1-0. But they manage the time. We we did, but that was because Tottenham were rubbish. Yeah, and I thought Don played very well. Not bad for a Championship striker who can't kick a bounce over a banjo and that, is it? So
Yeah.
great.
If we're gonna play that formation, I think we need to get on that Liverpool fan kick where we don't expect loads from the striker because he's gonna, he facilitates the two either sides of him. And that I'm only half joking about that. Like he's not gonna score as many goals in a front three as he was in a front two because he's gonna have to be creating the space rather than finding the space that the others create. But I think he's up to that. He's not the type of player who's going to get the ball at his feet and take someone on. There was a few times yesterday where his touch took him away from the goal or, didn't help him. But, he creates opportunities. And if he can create opportunities for Richarlison on one side and James on the left, then that's going to be so helpful for the team. But he can also, get the goals himself. Right? Clearly, Carlo wants to be an effective team at set pieces. We were one of the best last season, and our first goal has been a set piece. We've got some players in the team who can take really good set pieces. James, Dean Sigurdsson, but that we've got the ability to do that. So we, every chance of getting, 5 headers, 5, set piece goal this year just from Calvert-Lewin because, as we saw yesterday, it's one of his strong suits.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it for the end of the video. I mean, we could probably go on for an hour reacting to how well we performed, but we're going to have to end it there. So thank you, Terry and Owen, for joining me. Thank you all very much for watching. I mean, give us your thoughts in the comments below. I can imagine what the general reaction is going to be like. Check out all the Toffee Blues social media. Thank you very much for watching and join us next time on the Toffee Blues.